At least get the orb, and we'll see if they can draw any utility as well.
A lot being used just to get forward here with 3 members. So the orb is gained. Smoke will come through, but this Killjoy setup for Def, who is something to kind of keep an eye on. I thought this was a very good point for the desk. Obviously, we watch him play Cypher a ton, but what is he going to offer as far as the defensive identity of XSET? And this time it's largely, hey guys, I got it. I've got a sentry drone. I've got 2 nanostorms stacked up on A. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, and XSET starting to ask some questions. The drone goes through for Cryo. The turret's spotted, and that's going to give them some information as to the setup. Moose obviously looking for this one, trying to play the better angles, but won't be able to do that. Just keeping that push at bay right now, and XSET don't really know what's going on the defense. There comes that extra knife. It's going to catch B-Dog. I don't know that it hit anybody else, though. So 50 seconds, and XSET are going to be forced just to play somewhat passive on the site. Second, we'll slow this one down with the frag grenade, and that's going to allow his teammates time to rotate. Oh, he's actually popped B-Dog as well.
That's tough scenes here because Aaron was right behind, ready to go with an incendiary if needed. This is going to force Luminosity to have to hit through the middle of the map, and look who's ready for it. Cryo, the timing, right behind, able to find one head, and then second cleanse up the last 2. Oh boy. You want to talk about just essentially forcing Luminosity in the worst possible position. XSET just showcased it. And as BCJ finds the final kill, it's XSET who take the pistol.
I won't say the company, don't know if I can say that, but I've had them, and they are damn good. The target is also pretty damn good. So it's really impressive to see how clean he's looking right now. And on this attack, they've got that one Marshall on B-Dog. It's actually taken down Cryo in mid. That's a nice pickup, and that's a gun that can later be collected if they want.
Yeah, and if you're a B-Dog or Luminosity fan, I think you're all collectively thinking that's a W. Just the 1v1 with Cryo Cells and Breeze was just not a favorable one. So B-Dog kind of establishing that may have been just a fluke map for him. We stopped the initial kill. Aaron getting aggressive to find a response. And not only is it a response on the numbers, but that's also a long control. Once again, Luminosity have to kind of work through this middle of the map if they want to find an opening.
Yeah, so the info play there in response from XSET was great on A main. At the same time, BCJ, I believe, collected the dropped Marshall in mid and has taken it away. So they can't pick up that Marshall in mid now. At the same time, they got some information in mid too. So XSET reacting really well to try to make this round a good one for them.
Oh. I'll take things you hate to see for 1,000, Dan.
Well, I mean, there's still some positioning here for Luminosity to try to get some extra damage. Spy plant would be lovely, but they have a Killjoy on site to worry about. And VCJ doing a good job there. Oh, able to hold this one down, gets that info. Oh, Def goes down. That's a free site now, so they can at least get the money from this plant.
Yeah, good to be confirmed for this. And Moose has to make a choice of how Hound wants to try to rock this defensive post plant, like the call. Get forward, take away one entry. Now your sentry turret is your next point of contact. Dazzle, of course, revealed on site. Moose able to turn 16 HP into 2 kills.
XSET to try to get an early advantage.
They're going to do it quietly. No utility, no footsteps. And of course, you hear that the sentry turret is kind of blipping its way on the top of the hut. So XSET will kind of have to draw a line in the sand here, but this is one that, well, shorties are waiting for you. In fact, it's shorties pretty much across the board.
You know, they hear that turret. So is that turret there because the lurk, you know, your lurker, your killjoys put it there to catch any aggressions, or is it there because they're going to burst behind it? You know, and so we're going to see the drone used there as well. That's going to give them some information. That's going to spot the shorty though. So that breaks the shorty setup, and Def has to fall back. But there's another player where that came from. Cryo's also around the corner, forced to dash away. So their clearance of this B main position, LG, is fantastic.
Yeah, clinical. Now the lockdown has been earned as well as Moose is able to collect the ultimate orb. The spike was never a part of this play, by the way. This is just regaining and putting pressure on XSET with low utility to have to stack numbers defensively towards B. So now here comes the hit towards A. Paranoia across the front of the doors. Zekin's able to avoid that, and the fragment will actually delay a little while longer. The defense is going to get here, Dan, and as Aaron has a shorty in the corner, he just needs to know when to hit the triggers, and as Mata comes across as he finds the flashed Aaron, that will be good for an opening elimination as Luminosity gain the site.
Yeah, it looks pretty difficult now. Oh, unable to find a punish. There was a just moment there, a tiny moment to maybe make that happen, but Luminosity now stabilizing nicely. No players actually lost, and there it is. We might start to see the game change as Cryo is going to move around the map. Going to see him in mid, going to see him pushing B main, A main. He's going to be all over the place. That's the first thing to worry about.
Absolutely.
If you're LG now.
Yep. The good news about this so far, what the operator play could do. You just kind of get aggressive, hope that the opening kills towards a more traditional hit are successful for you, just like this. You just send members in, you got BCJ completely isolated, and look how fast Luminosity are going.
Aaron's stuck on the site, has to win the 1v1. Can't do it though. And they have managed to circumvent the operator just by bursting through onto this A site. And the money's not good here for XSET. They spent everything to have this operator. So they're going to need a convincing argument, I think, to really go for this retake and pull the trigger on it. And at the moment, not really being given anything. There's nothing to be given at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could maybe try to play for some exits here. If Def was going to do that, he would have tried to walk towards Gelati, but they are playing it so passively.
They're going to continue this completely.
Waiting it out.
No one's even going to bother with exits. And the thing about it, even if they were to have found a couple eliminations to trade away on this hit from Luminosity, there wouldn't have been a response with Aaron and BCJ falling for an eventual lockdown. So this was an advantage for Luminosity from start to finish. Just again, off of the opening that they were able to take down BCJ, isolate him at the front doors, and then Aaron, as you had called defensively, needed to at least find one for his life. Wasn't even able to do that.
0 point. And there's a dash as well. But the one-way, the Brimstone one-way Sky Smoke is going to blow that setup up. So they're actually going for an aggression exit onto the A main position. They're willing to fight. At the same time, we see Cryo holding onto that mid ground. And because of all the efforts towards A main, he's got the confidence to move out further. And the Spike's going to just cross his line.
This is very bad news for Luminosity. Shoulders come out and they double peek it. What awareness is that? Maybe the Cloudburst blocking off the recon bolt gives them the intel they need. Lockdown now in play. Problem about this is Def is outside the radius and still has full utility at the front doors of B main. Trying to help and assist this as Aaron as an incendiary will come down. The lockdown's going to be expended and nothing's really going to be gained with it. The Shrouded Step has to come through. LG need to go quickly because really for XSET, they're already here.
And Tig made a play though, TPing through. I don't know if that would have been audible. Death with the catch onto Martyr in mid though. And Tig's still in this position around market. Looking to cause problems. Second has a good angle. Looks like he's in a good spot to maybe deal with this one. And you can see Tig is forced into a different spot, gets exposed and punished. 2 left now here for Luminosity on this defense. Make that 1 just down to Moose. And we've seen him play these positions really well. But this is too much. Second knows his angles. And that was wonderfully handled by XSET.
It's largely due to the fact that Def's setup on the B zone was not also pertaining Def himself. You have Aaron who just rotates from the backside of mid-market over, and then the incendiary in the combination of the nanostorms essentially negates the effect of the lockdown completely. That's just good isolation and containment of the B site from start to finish for XSET's defense.
LG have left alert for that B lobby position. And you'd love to see it. Just a combination of util there to force them back into the shock dart, but it doesn't actually land this time.
This feels ominously familiar to how Luminosity and version 1 were kind of negotiating over this play through A long. At least that was from kind of version 1's perspective. Offensively, they were finding so much value getting this position over towards A. And granted, as though LG have kind of gained their own space, XSET have contested this much more heavily. So it's really kind of a expensive battle for not much for both teams at the moment. But as Luminosity look to expend towards mid, now you wonder if Cryocells will actually be able to utilize this position for the first time.
So XSET knew they had to get extremity control. They're making the play for him, and they just droned this and did see Tig. So the question is now, like, you know that they're covering both extremities. You have no idea what they're doing in the mid round right now. You know that they have mid, A plays outside of A, and B. So, you know, the hunger for information here in this A main take is important. And Tig is still entertaining it. You know, they're just shooting some shots. But at this point, it's starting to backfire because there's very little time. And XSET know this. Luminosity have to start making a move. And anything is going to be heavily telegraphing what they're doing. So now it's guaranteed they're going towards this B site.
Yep, and these trades are fine. Oh, wow, they're actually going to spend the Hunter's Fury for this as well? Even if they were to find success fighting eliminations, Clock is their biggest opponent here, Dan. 9 seconds on the clock. Tiggs has to get this kill and do it cleanly, and he's not able to. Second holding his ground for a little while longer. Spike trying to get planted, and it will just barely at the last second, leaving XSET and now a 2v2 retake. Dazzle, though, on 1 HP and Mata, less than half left in his bank.
That was like 50 milliseconds. And there is a recon available, and shock. There's at least a shock dart left as well, an incendiary too. There is plenty of util to clear out the backside. There goes the recon to see if there's anyone on the site. BCJ, I don't think he's going to find anything with this shock dart. Moving forwards now, and oh, there's one from Dazzle. Aaron cannot make the trade.
Calling that one by a knife's edge is generous. I mean, that is as close as it gets on a multitude of levels. The fact that Tig dies in the first place, you think there's no way. It's done. Second has done everything he needs to, but Mata gets the plant done just barely. And then the individual kill from Dazzle in the first place.